I count myself incredibly lucky, and luck has had a lot to do with a lot of the things that have gone well. Case in point, Mara mentioned virtual Commonwealth at the beginning of the pandemic. Last March, when we had to shut down the school and we had to figure out how we were going to reopen virtually in 2 weeks, I had no idea. I didn't know how Zoom worked. And I got an email from a former debate coach who said, I've developed this virtual building for debate competitions, and I could fashion it into a school building. And it was lucky. We said, tell us about it. And we decided to go with it. And in 2 weeks, we were up and running with a virtual school building. So there was a lot of luck. And I'm also incredibly lucky. I'm lucky that Charlie decided to offer me that job in 1985. I'll repeat the story that when Polly Chatfield, Charlie's wife, called up her brother Michael Putnam, who is here today and who had been a professor of mine at Brown, and said, "Tell us about Wharton." He said a few nice things about me as a classicist, but then waxed eloquent about how all of the professors in the department were deeply in love with my wife, who was also a classics major. And the Penelope passage was a good one to read because, Penelope, in the Odyssey, Penelope is the only one who outwits Odysseus at that moment when she tricks him into revealing the secret. So I'm lucky and grateful there as well. The other thing I will say that I've said many times is when I became head, I was still in the junior half of the faculty. And for the first dozen years, it was like being surrounded by older siblings who, Kate and Eric and Judith, the art department, Rebecca Folkman, so many. They were so pleased that there was somebody who they knew who actually wanted this job, that I think they did their utmost to protect me and to help make sure that things would be a success. So for the first 12 years, it was like being surrounded by older brothers and sisters who were going to give anybody who made trouble for me a piece of their mind. And I was fortunate there. They retired, and then I found myself as the old guy, as the boss. And it was an interesting shift that took some adjustments. But again, I was incredibly fortunate to have this crew of faculty who are devoted to the school. And that's all that you can ask. And they're incredibly talented and they love their work. We say that when we're looking for teachers, we look for people who love their fields, know them deeply, and who also like teenagers, which is a specific kind of person and a specific talent. So I've been fortunate there. I've been fortunate to have a board of trustees who have backed me and backed the school unstintingly, and who also have understood the boundaries between the role of a board and the role of an administration. That's rarer than it should be, and we've been incredibly lucky there. And I've had 4 board chairs, Polly Chatfield, Bill Sheridan, Karen Firestone, and Therese, who really understood the school and its strengths, and have helped me to do my job and given me support as I've needed it. It's also been a real privilege to work with the founder and his family. That's a rare opportunity in a school. And Charles, it was fun getting together a few times a year over lunch with Charles, and he loved hearing about the trials and tribulations of the job. I still have a postcard of a medieval sculpture of a guy, of a figure in a Romanesque column capital, holding his face in his hands and looking frightened and saying, typical headmaster on a typical day. But Charles, it was great to work with Charles as well. And with Charlie Chatfield, and also with Judith Keenan. Judith Keenan really laid the foundation. She made changes at the school that needed to be changed, and set things up so that we were able to have a pretty good 20-year run. I'll tell one more story some of you've heard me tell. 3 years ago, when my daughter was getting married, I walked into a store on Newbury Street where they made reasonably priced tailor-made suits. It's called Indochino. And I needed a suit for my daughter's wedding. And I was walking around looking at the coats and the material. And this young guy comes up to me and says, "Sir, can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, my daughter's getting married in August and I need a suit." And he said, "Well, sir, these are these suits, the suits we make are cut really trim." And I thought, well, you know, I'm in pretty decent shape. You know, I think I could probably fit. He said, "No, sir, these are really trim, youthful cuts." And I stopped and I looked at him and I said, "Are you telling me that I'm too old to wear your suits?" And he said, "Sir, Brooks Brothers is right across the street." And I take that as sort of a metaphor. You know, there are many ways signals, large and, you know, I should say subtle and not so subtle, that have said, you know, the times are changing and it's time to let some younger blood step in and take the reins. But it's deeply gratifying to know that things will carry on, that the school's set up to carry on and to thrive, and that the commitment of the faculty and of the board and of the alumni and of the students to what the school's about is undimmed. So as I've said before, it's been a good run. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It's been you know, it's been a great place to make a career, and you feel like you're doing something worthwhile. And may it continue. Thank you very much.